Hello everybody, welcome back to another Mortal Jellyfish video. We got the Vulcan kit, and you already know this if you saw my last video. With that said though, if you like these should you buy videos so I can save people's Bobucks, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, it helps a ton. With that said though, let's hop into the pros and cons of the Vulcan kit so you can see it firsthand. So now that we're here into the Vulcan gameplay, we're going to start off with our 6 pros and then 6 cons for this kit. And then at the end of this video, we're going to go over my personal opinion of whether you should or should not buy this kit. And of course, you can always feel free to disagree with my opinion. You know, that's what they're there for. Everybody can have their own. Yeah, and with that said, let's hop right into the pros. So starting off in our pros here, now we are doing 6 pros and 6 cons, just a reminder. So the first one is the turret's shooting is like a spammable bow. That's the best way for me to put it. So that's going to be our first pro, is a spammable bow. Like, you could just pew 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 and you can shoot pretty fast. Now I notice with an auto clicker sometimes it shoots a bit more consistently, where when you're mouse clicking sometimes it has these lag delays in the bullets, which is really annoying. But I mean, yeah, so I mean, if you want to auto clicker in the turret, it's probably a bit better, but I mean, I don't really auto clicker anything in this game, so yeah, up to you. Spammable bow though, that's pretty good. I enjoyed that. 2 is you can have map wide presence. Now this is a very powerful thing. Being able to like maybe throw a turret up at a diamond generator or something, you see somebody coming down, you just boop, you pull out your tablet and you hop on it, you start pew 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 pew, you start shooting them. Super good, because this basically allows you to be in multiple places at once. I mean, yeah, sure, the turret's presence isn't as strong as somebody with a sword and bow and stuff like a Reaper, but it's definitely a presence, and one not to be mocked with the knockback and stuff. As long as the knockback and stuff isn't taken out. When I first started this, right as the update came out, the thing didn't have knockback, and it did cost 2 emeralds, but now it's 1 emerald and it has knockback, so it's gotten a lot better just in the making of this video. If there's any more fine adjustments, things could change here, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, map wide presence is our second pro. It's pretty good. 3, you can see across the map based on turret location. Now this is kind of close to number 2. Number 2 is like you have presence in that area, like people can't just free walk over there. This one's more of like a scouting purpose pro, and that's because you can have your turrets across the map, so you can be like, okay, there's 2 people at green base, you know, because you can typically see the 2 side bases in squads, but you can't see all the way across the map. And I imagine if you wanted to try and use this in solos, it would help too, with seeing islands directly across the map from you. If you set one up in middle. With that said though, let's move into our 4th pro here, and that is good for bridge camping. Now, like I said, when this first came out, its knockback was so weak it would do nothing but kind of just stutter people. They kind of and they couldn't walk fast. But now it actually has a knockback, and you'll see that a lot in this video of me knocking people off bridges. So yeah, set these up at a slight angle on a bridge and just go ham with them. The bridge camping and the knockoff with it's pretty good. Considering that the damage is pretty low, the knockoff is good. Next up, our 5th pro is anti-balloon. Now, I only got 1 clip of this because we didn't go too many late game, and I didn't get to play this kit a ton yet. I'm going to continue playing it, but I can already tell you it's anti-balloon because, I mean, you spam turret shots, and every time somebody gets hit with a balloon, regardless of where they're hit now, because of the nerf recently to balloons a while back, it automatically pops a balloon. So pew pew pew, 3 shots, hit him. Oh, he's 3 balloons are gone. This is very anti-balloon friendly, a lot like our wizard, which I like to see. It puts balloons in check a little bit when you have things like this in game. And that's going to move us into our 6th pro, which is can only be broken by like other blocks. It can only be broke like other blocks, so like a pickaxe, an axe, and then of course the TNT and fireball also can blow this up. So if somebody wants to throw 90 iron at your 1 emerald cost, I mean, that's not bad trade. 1 emerald or 90 iron, those are both pretty expensive. So if they want to take out your turret, they can with a fireball. But yeah, it's still nice that it can't be broken by like bows and stuff. So there's nothing that really arranged outside of a fireball that can break your turret. And now that we've done our 6 pros, we're going to go ahead and move into the 6 cons. And yeah, so moving into our 6 cons here, the first con is going to be low turret damage. Now, with no armor, the turret's going to do 5. With leather armor, it's going to do 3. And with iron armor and above, it's going to do 1. Now, when they get above iron armor, it's going to say 0, but it still does 1 damage. So yeah, there's at a certain point where it doesn't fall off anymore. But yeah, basically 5 damage when they have nothing, 3 damage in leather, 1 for anything above. Now, that said, that's pretty low damage, so it's not super, like, gonna be like, oh, I can just shoot him and kill him real quick. No, it's gonna take a lot of bullets to kill somebody, even 20 if they have no iron. That said, it is spammable damage, but that's not where the thing's power comes from. Its main power is in knockoffs, both the knockback that it has. It's a little knockback, but it's not a lot. It has a little bit. So you can knock people off, and then also on top of it, it's kind of like a snare. It kind of slows people. Every time they get hit, I notice they can't like sprint away constantly. So yeah, it seems to break sprints as well. So let's move into our second con here. Too many turrets is hard to scroll through. So if you get like 6 turrets up, and I had like 5 at one point in the game, you're just sitting there like next turret, next turret, next turret, and you start to get confused with what turret's where. I believe it goes by the first turret when you enter your tablet is the last tower you place, so it goes by last to first one placed. So what I would recommend to counter this is to go back and break your old ones. Yeah, so that's that. And that's gonna bring us into our third con, and that's that you can't pick them up. Like, you can't just like, oh, let me pick this back, turn it back up, and move it somewhere else. You break it and it's just gone, and that's the only way to get them out of the camera cycle, so you can stay consistent with like 2 to 3 turrets easier. Yeah, you have to break them, which kind of sucks. You can't just pick them up and take them away. Hopefully they add this. It would be much nicer to be able to pick your turrets up and move them later on. And that's going to take us into our fourth con, and that is going to be knockback is weaker than bow. So if you're already a good bow sniper, this kit, yeah, it's good, but bows still have a stronger knockback. This one's a little bit harder to knock people off with. That said, though, it's spammable, so spammable knockback is maybe equal to bow knockback. Bow takes 1 good shot. This might take like 2 or 3 good shots to get a knockoff. Yeah, and then we'll move into our fifth con here, and that is the turret has short range. Now, in a lot of this footage, you'll see me trying to shoot people way out. Now, if I had to say a good range example is probably Diamond Island to somebody else's island. That's about all it reaches. It typically doesn't reach from your island to somebody else's island. In duos or solos, it probably would. But in squads, it's not that long of a range. I'm not sure how many blocks is it. I'd have to do more testing to get an exact block number that it can shoot across. But either way, it doesn't have the world's longest range. Bows will also beat the turret out in range sense, as this thing doesn't have quite as much range as the other ones. And that's going to move us up into our last con here, and that doesn't have complete free aim up and down. Now, you can turn in a whole 360 on these, it seems, but it seems like they're going to have a limitation when you aim down. So if you put this on top of a tree, which you'll also see in some of this gameplay here, if it's in the top of a tree, you can't angle it down sharp enough to see your bed sometimes. So make sure when you place one of these that you're not placing it somewhere too high, because you might not be able to shoot directly below you. With that said, height is nice for shooting down onto other things like bridges or something, but at your base, you probably want a lower turret if you're trying to guard your bed with a turret. And yeah, that's the end of our cons, so that's going to take us on over into our should you buy segment of this video, where I give you guys my full-on opinion of whether or not I think this kit is worth a buy or not to buy. And then yeah, I'm gonna give you a little example of this. So with that said, let's just move over to the end part of this video and the should you or should you not buy part of it. Alright, thanks for making it to the end of this video and the should you or should you not buy portion of it. Much appreciated. It's not always that people make it this far in the video. Anyways though, I'm gonna tell you why you came here, and that's to know whether you should or should not buy this. Now, this kit is pretty fun. Like, it's got to be one of the funnest kits that's been added so far. I genuinely really enjoyed this kit. Outside of how good it is and how bad it is, I don't care. Like, it is, I mean, I will care in a minute, just not right now. That's not okay. Anyways, this kit is super fun. It's one of my favorite kits probably right now. Just because the turrets are so much fun. It's so satisfying to just throw those up at a diamond generator or something, and just pew pew pew, people right off their bridges as they're trying to farm diamonds. So yeah, and it's just super unique, just being able to hop in the cams and, you know, sit there and do stuff. It kind of reminds me of things like Apex Legends with Crypto's drone, and you can see things and fly it around, or Rainbow Siege 6 with the little drones you can drive around. That's what it kind of feels like in his turrets, and it's super fun and it's super unique to the game. That said, on a fun level, it's worth buying. I think it's something that's unique and super fun. But on a skill level, where does it compete with other kits like Reaper, Elder Tree, and those things? And that's where I don't think this kit necessarily keeps up. And maybe that's just because it's a defense kit. Like, this kit can't really be compared directly to like Reaper, Barbarian, and Elder Tree, because those are all very heavily offensive kits that are used for pushing bases. I would not necessarily say this is the kit for pushing a base, as it does not really give you any bonus in upfront attacking a base. Instead, it gives you more control over the map. It gives you the power to control areas, and then, you know, knock people off bridges, camp things. It gives you a little more defense. So in that sense, I'd say you need to compare this kit more to farmer, builder, and stuff like that. Some that's support, kind of, but something that's also support that stays at the base, because this guy, let's be real, he's probably better off at the base. Sure, you can go offensive like you see in some of the clips I had here where I was out there camping bridges at the Diamond Island. You could do that too. But either way, I still think he's more of a defensive kind of character. So then we're comparing him to something like farmer and builder. I definitely think he's one of my higher tier defense kits now. For sure. I mean, yeah, farmer is super good late game. And this guy's going to cover that early game. So, I mean, if you're looking for more of an early game defense player, because you're mainly defense, your team always has you sitting at the base, you probably enjoy this kit, because it gives you something to do. Instead of just sitting there like, do I collect more iron and build the base bigger? Or do I leave the iron here for when my teammates get back so it'll be stronger offense? You don't really have to question that no more. You're like, you know what? Somebody bring me back 1 emerald, and then your team brings you back 1 emerald. You can throw up a turret, and then you can just sit there and pew 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 and mess around, and you're having a good time. Defense is definitely way less boring with this. I think from here on out, for me personally, if I ever am sitting defense, which I do now occasionally, I sit defense so people can enjoy offense when I play with them. Yeah, I think I'll probably play this. This or farmer. I mean, farmer, of course, if I want to invest in late game, but this guy's more of an early game. And yeah, I think this is a should buy. It's super fun. It is a defense kit though, so if you're mainly an offense player and you're playing things like Reaper, Elder Tree, Barbarian, I would not buy this kit. This is not for you. This kit's not super good. You're gonna feel a little lackluster. There was some fights I ran into with this kit, and I was like, ugh, if I was Reaper, I would have just grabbed a soul, healed, and then killed this guy, and then stole their bed. And I just couldn't do that on this kit, because obviously it's not that kind of kit. Outside of that though, super fun defense kit. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. With that said though, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.